3-point contest is upcoming. I'm among the participants for this year. First up is Damian Lillard, the current defending champion of the 3-point contest. And he starts the first round scoring 19 points. Next up is Luka Doncic. And during his turn, he scored 17 points, 2 points lower than Dame's. Desmond Bane comes in third. He's kind of improved this year a lot without Ja Morant. And he finishes his round scoring 21 points. Klay Thompson's up next. I'm surprised he's in and Steph Curry is not. Klay Thompson scores 15. Surprising. I thought he was going to score a lot more than that. And then next up, Jason Tatum. He's the second to the last participant before I start mine. And he scores 16. I'm the sixth and the last participant that is going to make his turn in the 3-point contest. My money ball is going to be at rack number 5. The very last one I'm going to take. I missed my first one. Make my second. When I play this 3-point contest, it sometimes feels like whenever I would try to shoot, it's not like how I would normally shoot. I had to like release the ball a lot slower compared to my normal motion whenever I would release square. Sometimes like a 10th second earlier, but then it's a total necessity for me to be able to win against everyone else in this contest. And it's considering that in this version of 2K24 that I'm playing right now, they did not include the extra ball that they added specifically for the 3-point contests nowadays, which would have made it 27 balls to shoot instead of 25. The one where you shoot a bit behind the line. Scored 28 points in my round, so up to the finals. Damian Lillard's gonna go first because he scored the third most points. So we're gonna show how he's going to do. Damian Lillard off to a sluggish start. He only made 2 balls. He made a muddy ball in the first rack. 4 points. 5 points. Alright, 7. So he's not doing too bad, but not that impressive of a start. For his standards at least. Money ball rack, which is on rack number 4. He makes the second. He makes the third. He makes the fourth. Uh-oh. He misses the last one. So final rack he goes. He scores 17. 18. And he scores 20 points. He's bringing up the pressure. He wants to win back-to-back 3-point contests. Next up is Desmond Bane. Now let's see if he will be able to surpass Damian Lillard. He's actually shooting the money rack first. He's taking the risk out here. And he only made 1 of them. That's a waste. This is why I wouldn't recommend starting the round with the money rack, because the money rack is usually utilized in the climax of your round, because this is way important points. They cost 2 of them, not 1 point but 2. There's no way he's going to be able to outlast Damian Lillard now that he missed his last 2 money balls. Yep, he only scored 16. Man, that ballsy move by Bane just cost him right there. Money rack first and only making 1 of them. Alright, my final round for this one, I start yet again at the 5th rack because it's the most important one. And I missed the first money ball. I only have 3 points so far. I am kind of struggling compared to how I did in the first round. I only have 3 so far. 4. Alright, I'm at 6. Rack number 3. I am still kind of struggling. I missed 3 shots in a row. Finally, I make 4. Now I make my 5th. I am at 9 points. I need to pass 20 points. 11. 12. 14. Now I have a chance. I need to get past 20. I'm at 16 now. 18. 20. One more. Oh, I missed one. I need one more. And that's it. I scored 22 points, passing Damian Lillard. I dethroned him as the 3-point contest champion. Man, that was a close game indeed. That said, on to the All-Star game. Surprisingly, I'm coming off the bench at this All-Star game. I come into the game at the start of the second quarter. Guarding Luka Doncic. He tries to shoot it over me. He misses. Jokic with the offensive rebound, and he gets fouled by Joel Embiid. The real-life All-Star weekend just finished just recently, and at the end of the All-Star game, everybody was like so broken from the entire NBA fan base, the true fans of the game, to even the casuals, and even extends to the actual journalists. And the controversy of this year's All-Star weekend is non-stop. And the sad thing is, it's been going on even last year as well. And I'm going to start by discussing the first event of the All-Star weekend, which is the Rising Stars Challenge. I want to say, besides the All-Star Saturday night events, I feel like parts of the Rising Stars Challenge is the best part of All-Star weekend as a whole. And it's sad because the players that are making the events that are more entertaining than it should be are players that are not in an NBA team right now. And in other words, players that are in the G League are the ones that are making fans a lot more engaged. And it even extends to All-Star Saturday night as well, especially in the slam dunk contest, because a lot of people are so disappointed that the slam dunk contest has been an anomaly. Like, think about it. The last good dunk contest that a lot of people had experience with was back in 2016, where Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon were just battling it out in the final round. It took so many rounds just for them to break the tie in the final round. Nobody knew who they wanted to win. And then at the end of the slam dunk contest, there were a lot of controversial takes when it came to the end results, especially when Aaron Gordon is involved. Let's talk about that one. A lot of people are saying Aaron Gordon got robbed, while Zach LaVine has been making a lot of flashy dunks during that event. A lot of people are saying Aaron Gordon deserves to be the winner, and he's had another appearance the year after. Then again, his slam dunk contest tenure ended a lot earlier than the year before, and ever since then, Aaron Gordon has not been participating in any slam dunk contests anymore, because he feels like the judges are rigging the slam dunk contest against him. He feels that they don't want him to win, because they feel like he's not flashy enough. But Aaron Gordon, you can't help but feel bad for him. And going back to the G League, they were one of the teams that participated in the Rising Stars Challenge. There are 4 teams. One of them is the G League team, and the other 3 are composed of a mixture of rookies and sophomores. And The three other teams were chosen by Jaden Rose, Pau Gasol, and Tamika Catchings. The first game was Team Jalen versus Team Tamika. The first game was won by Team Jalen, led by Indiana's own Ben Matherin. And Ben Matherin was doing a lot in this first game. He was shooting almost everything for Team Jalen. And that had a team consisted of Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Walker Kessler, and even Derek Lively, who is among their most impactful players in that game. A lot of promising rookies. And then on Team Tamika, of course, there's Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey especially. Jaden Ivey has got to be a much bigger focal point for the Pistons going forward. I don't know how reliable Cade is as the heliocentric point guard, and to be honest, I don't think he's suited for that. So they have to run more through Jaden Ivey. And here's another promising rookie from Memphis, Vince Williams Jr. And there's another one in Gigi Jackson. And Memphis is going to need some suitable replacements for Dylan Brooks as they lost some of their wing defense. They might have gotten Marcus Smart in one of the trades, but Marcus Smart is more of a guard defender who can guard wings, but is not as effective compared to Dylan Brooks. So Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams can certainly fill the role that they need in the very future. And there's a lot of promise in these two. And now I'm going to discuss what is the most shocking moment in the entire Rising Stars Challenge. Like, it's so shocking that a lot of slander has been going certain players' way. And this is about Team Pau versus Team Detlef. Team Pau has Victor Wembanyama in it, and Team Detlef is the G League team. And you know who won? The team that doesn't have Wemby in it. And a lot of people are slandering him after that. Like, seriously. This is so shocking. The G League team played so hard, and then the other team just didn't play that serious. Like, most players were just treating it as if there's nothing to prove. And the other team has something to prove as well. And it's a foreshadowing that one team would play with a lot of effort and the other team wouldn't. And the players in Team Pau that I feel were among the most serious players in that entire game was Jaime Jaquez, Bilal Coulibaly, and Kaysen Wallace. Even though Kaysen Wallace had the most brain-dead play in the entire game, he fouled Mac McClung on a three-point attempt. And the thing was, they were 3 points away from the target score. Mac McClung needed 3 free throws just for them to win the game. And he was just lucky that he only made 1 of 2. A lot of people are talking about Mac McClung in this G League team, and rightfully so, because I know a lot of people are saying, oh, his dunks are so nice, he's a pure dunker, blah blah blah. But the G League games has been showing that he's more than just a dunker. He has an all-around game, and even he's had flashes of that in the Summer League, even though a lot of fans are like criticizing him about how much of a quote-unquote ball hog he can be. But in his own right, he's actually solid. But the standouts to me, one of them is Alondes Williams. He is so unafraid to attack the entire game, especially against Victor Wembanyama. his first points, he went against Victor and he scored an end one over the 7'4" center. Like, it takes guts to drive in the paint against someone who is a lot taller than you are. And he also shot a 3-point attempt over Wemby. And Wemby has been known for blocking a lot of jump shots this year. Because even though Wemby can overhelp at times, he can just go all the way back because of his sheer length. And he can just block jump shots as a result. So Alondes Williams has been moving me. He's actually among the best players in that G League team as well. And the other one I have to talk about is Matas Buzelis. And he was the one who made the game winner for Team Delef, upsetting Team Pau, upsetting Wemby, and giving Wemby a lot of slander coming his way. He has a lot of potential as a shot creator, and he's shown flashes in the entire game, and even in the next round against Team Jalen in the finals. But he's got ways to go to be a great one. But he's shown flashes of it. And in Team Jalen versus Team Detlef, the standouts to me have been Derek Lively and Jordan Hawkins, which to the point where I feel like Jordan Hawkins should be the primary ball handler for the Pelicans in the very future, and especially when they feel like moving on from CJ McCollum one of these years. And a lot of people are saying Jordan Hawkins got robbed for the Rising Stars MVP. The one who won it was Ben Mathurin, and a lot of people have been criticizing the MVP pick, saying that Ben Mathurin only got the MVP because of his usage rate, and he's been chucking a lot of shots. But I feel like it's not entirely undeserved though, because he's been the one going all out the most in this entire event. He was trying to bring out the competitiveness, trash talking Jaden Ivey, and Jaden Ivey do the same thing back. All in good fun though, no malice. They just want to compete. They want to bring that competitive feeling back, the feeling that a lot of fans felt like has been lacking in the All-Star weekend, especially the All-Star game these past few years. And props to him though, but some people felt like Derek Lively and Jordan Hawkins should have won it, because they feel like either one of them have been making more impact than Mathurin ever has. But it is what it is. Now moving on to All-Star Saturday night, it actually started out funny, because in the skills challenge, the first round, Scotty Barnes and Tyrese Maxey went the wrong way in the first round, which is the really skills challenge. And the number one picks, the next round, they couldn't even make it in time, because at the end, Anthony Edwards just sorted to trying out shooting his left hand in the shooting portion of the round. And he's actually trying to show it off a bit too much, because a video containing him shooting left-handed shots and then actually going in has been viral. He's been wanting to improve his left-hand shot since then, but people felt like it was unnecessary for him, to the point where it became a meme of sorts. He's become a laughingstock, and even that translated to the All-Star game, which has been the most disappointing part of the entire All-Star weekend. And even people are saying it's so much worse than last year. And think about it, last year was not even great, even to the point where Jaylen Brown has been trashing the All-Star game for it, and even Mike Malone had a tirade rant about how the All-Star game has been turned into a playground for kids. And the next year, it's been so much worse, and then the reception has been a lot more negative as time has come. And 2023 wasn't the only year that it's been doing that. Now, moving on, we have the three-point contest, where the defending champion was Dame Lillard. And in the first round, there was a four-way tiebreak between Lillard, Halliburton, Trae Young, and Karl Anthony Towns, as four of them scored 26 points each. And the winner continued to be Damian Lillard. He defended his title. He's a back-to-back three-point contest champion. I don't even remember who was the most recent one that had back-to-back three-point contest championships. And people are treating it like it is Dame's NBA Finals, the only award that he'll ever win, which is hilarious if I can say that. And the event that came right after that is what people say is the best thing about the entire All-Star weekend, which is Stephen Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu for the three-point contest. NBA versus WNBA player competing against each other in a shooting contest. And their purpose of doing that was to remove any stereotypes that women can't play basketball as good as the professional male basketball athletes can. And Sabrina Ionescu shooting this well in the NBA three-point line has been amazing to see. She scored as many points as the defending champion, and she scored 26 points. And the most amount of points that any of the participants in the recent three-point contest did was 26. The tiebreaker, the one where they had to do a four-way tie, they had to break it. This just shows that she can do just as good as many of the NBA athletes can. And what's egregious about all of that was that there were players in social media, and even Kenny Smith of all people was saying misogynistic stuff about what's currently happening, to the point where Reggie Miller had to stop him from saying any more stuff. Reggie Miller was trying to save Kenny Smith from himself that night. Kenny Smith has not been great the entire All-Star Saturday night, and people were saying that he's drunk out of his mind. I don't know what's happening. He's been saying so many negative stuff in that All-Star weekend, and the misogynistic stuff even extended to Evan Turner, to the point where he's been blocking a lot of users just for calling him out, and almost rightfully so, because he's saying that Steph Curry shooting against Sabrina Ionescu was unfair. Well, in all fairness, Steph Curry shooting against almost anybody in the NBA is considered unfair, because he has almost unlimited range. Steph Curry can shoot from almost anywhere, and his range has been so good, it's been influencing almost everyone else to try and replicate his game. But the thing is, it's just impossible for every NBA player or even the professional athletes to try and replicate what he's been doing right now. Dame Lillard and Trae Young are among the only players that can come close, but Curry is a unique case. That said, Evan Turner has been digging himself a lot deeper, a similar rate that Kenny Smith had been digging himself so deep during his time as a commentator for All-Star Night. And I think they should make this a tradition, because it would continue to disproved the stereotypes that female athletes can't be as good as the male athletes. And it can also expose a lot more of the misogynists in the internet. Twitter, Instagram, and even YouTube. They should keep it a tradition from here on out. And now for the main event, or should I say the anti-main event, which is the All-Star Game. The All-Star Game this year was the first time where a team scored over 200 points. It was a record-breaking night, but it came with a lot of disappointment because the West team, they have the better team, to be honest. Yet they were outplayed by the East All-Stars, who had honestly the lesser talent of the teams. And it goes to show that the lesser talented teams would always be the hard workers. And this is what the G League versus the team Wemby was on in the Rising Stars Challenge foreshadowed. Because they were playing with something to prove, unlike in the West where you had two players that were just not taking it as serious as the other team was, namely Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. The only players that took the All-Star game seriously in the West was Karl Anthony Towns, who scored 50 points. And it came with a lot of backlash where he was being called a ball hog. And people are saying this is what Chris Finch, being the coach, was for, to allow his own players to be dominant. Which is funny because Anthony Edwards was not in the game much, despite Chris Finch being the head coach for the West team. The only other player that can come close to this seriousness was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He scored 30 plus points and he had 7 threes. He made 7 out of 10 from the 3-point area. And it came with a lot of hilarity because people are saying a lot earlier that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a foul merchant. He doesn't deserve to be in the game over guys like Steph Curry, who is probably the most ideal athlete or NBA player when it comes to scoring. And it really helps that he gets one of the worst whistles of all time. Think about it. Whenever you would watch someone play defense on Steph Curry, there are times where he wouldn't get the landing space call and everyone else would. Sometimes whenever they would call the foul, it would be either an offensive foul because of the quote-unquote leg kick, which sometimes Steph Curry would have the natural motion in. And of course, whenever they would foul him on a jump shot, sometimes they wouldn't give him the landing space and he doesn't get the call. So really, he is the most ideal superstar for ethical buckets. And when the game ended, the MVP was announced. And then once it's announced that it was a player not even on the Pacers that was called the All-Star Game MVP, Indiana fans were booing. And I was like, why? Hey, give Lillard props. He was the best player on the East and he deserved it. Halliburton played well. He was the guy that gave the East All-Stars their 200th point, being the record breaker. But Pacers fans are honestly doing too much with the booing. And at the end of the day, a lot of people were just disappointed. People were saying it's a disgrace to the game of basketball. Back in the 90s, it was a lot more competitive. Even a lot of people were saying when Kobe Bryant retired, the All-Star game has not been the same. But that's a slight misconception because in 2022, the game was relatively close near the end of the game. It ended with a game winner as well as the game in 2020 where that was the game where they were honoring Kobe Bryant after his death. And it was a charity game. One team was wearing number 24 and the other team was wearing number 2 in honor of Gianna Bryant, one of the people that also died in the plane crash. And now, after the end of this year's All-Star Game, people were bringing back suggestions on how the All-Star Game can be fixed. One side made some suggestions that they should make it an incentive where the winning team gets home court advantage in the finals, similar to how the Major League Baseball All-Star Game would have it. And another side of the fan base was like, the All-Star Game isn't ever going to be saved. Players nowadays are not having the same kind of drive that guys like Kobe, Russell Westbrook, and even Russell Westbrook is active in the NBA right now. And people are saying Russell Westbrook even brings the drive to the All-Star Game as well. And that's the major part of the complaints that people are having in regards to the All-Star Game nowadays. And my problem with the home court advantage thing is that when the winning team gets home court advantage in the finals, it makes seedings a lot pointless. And it wouldn't matter that a team has the best record in the NBA, the best record of all time. If they are in the conference that isn't the winner, then that would all be pointless. This is why that suggestion of having the winning team having the home court advantage in the finals regardless of record, it's going to be unnecessary. And a lot of people are also just suggesting events that should replace the dunk contest because a lot of people are not enjoying the dunk contest these days. Some people want to see a 1v1 event, and then they want to see either shooting stars back, maybe even a 3v3. But who knows what Adam Silver will do in the next coming years, because you could tell that he was not happy about how this All-Star weekend ended. He wanted to implement rules that would make the game a lot better, but even then, it just was all for nothing. Come on, I steal it from Devonte Graham. Oh, Bam Adebayo! He just posterizes Victor Wembanyama on that alley-oop. Let's run that replay again. That was nice. Look at that.